Hello again. I have a question for you. Who likes steak? Or how about a nice piece of chicken or fish? Have you ever wondered what to put on that steak once it's cooked, or that piece of chicken or that piece of fish? Well, here's a thought. How about compound butter? And compound butter really is just butter that has other things mixed in with it. You can do a savory, which is what you would use on meats and vegetables, or you can do a sweet, and that's what we would use on baked goods, something where you'd want a little sweet note. Today I'm going to make some compound butter. You just find what you like. You know, I had some gorgonzola cheese in the fridge, and that's like, almost like a blue cheese. Well, we'll call it a green cheese because really they have that green in through there. It's not blue, it's green. And that is mold, but it's delicious. It's not the bad mold, it's the good mold. And I found some sage at the store. I love sage. Couldn't find shallots today. And for shallots, you'll find them in the store, hopefully, but I did not, so I'm just going to use a little bit of a regular onion. Of course, you need butter. I'm going to use salted butter because it's a finishing compound. And you're going to put it on your food after it is done cooking. And it kind of makes its own little creamy sauce to go with it. I also like chili flakes. But use your imagination. Whatever you think you would like on a piece of meat, you can go crazy, you know? You like some other type of seasoning? Put it on there. You like more salt and pepper? Put it in there. It's usually, though, fresh herbs, but you can use dried. And once we have it all mixed up, we are going to roll it up into a log and put it back in the refrigerator and let it get hard so that we can cut it off in individual pieces in order to serve it with our food once it has been cooked. So obviously the first thing you would do is leave your butter out till it comes to room temperature, soft enough so you can mix things in with it. Once we have softened the butter, just set it aside. You obviously need a whisk to mix that, a bowl, a knife, and this is very helpful, a rubber plate scraper. And since I need to grate cheese, and I have a box grater that I will grate the cheese. And some plastic wrap, of course. All right, let's get started. Well, we're gonna want just minced onion in there. Get this stuff out of my way. We're gonna mince the onion. And we don't want a whole lot of it. Just a little bit. So I'm gonna cut kind of like that, and then I'm going to get my claw going. Remember our claw? We want to keep our thumb behind and our fingers curled so we don't cut our fingertips. And I'm just going to make vertical slices down through my onion. I know I'm not going to use the whole piece, so I can, you know, really hold on to the back part of this piece because I'm not going to use it all. And then we want to slice across that, very small slices. We don't need this. We'll just set that aside and use it for something later. If you can see, I've got little tiny dices or cubes of onion. I want to run my knife over again, just rocking your knife over it. Make sure you get them nice and cut into uniform sizes. This is what is called a mince. Be careful, don't cut your fingers. And we're just going to mince that up because you don't want to bite into a big chunk of onion in your butter. We really just want it to flavor our butter without it becoming overwhelming. All right, I'll set that aside. Since I can do this all on one cutting board or mat, we'll just move it to the side and put it into our bowl later. Make sure you use a large enough bowl so that you can mix it. this seems like overkill, like it's too big, right? Better too big than too small, because you want that room to work the butter without it slopping over the edges. So when in doubt, go bigger. All right, let's move on to our cheese. And I just happen to like, you know, gorgonzola. Or you can use blue cheese. You can use any cheese. You like cheddar, use cheddar. You don't even have to use cheese. I'm telling you, whatever you want to put in this butter that you think you would like on a piece of meat, you do. Any spice, anything, anything. Just go for it. So I like to grate this up. And all this is just going to go in that one bowl and we're going to mix it up. How easy is that? Could you get any easier? I don't think so. When we make our own compound butter, we get to make it any way that we want. I used, maybe, that looks like a couple tablespoons of cheese. Here's another thing with compound butter. You get to determine how much of something that you put in there. You like more of an onion flavor, put in more onions. You like more cheese, put in more cheese. I like more cheese, I'm gonna put in more cheese. I think by the time I'm done here, I'm going to have roughly a half a cup of cheese. You don't have to use that much. There we go. We got a half a cup of cheese and about a tablespoon of minced onion. Why? Because I like more cheese than onion. See how that works? You can just put this into our bowl. Now let's go on with our herbs. You could put parsley in there. If you don't like sage, don't use sage. Use parsley. So we see that they're a long, like a long fat leaf, isn't it? Well, you couldn't just stick that whole leaf in there. We're going to have to cut it. So here is a good way to cut up our sage. How much sage should go in? As much as you want. You want more, you want less, you do it. You don't want sage, don't put in sage. You want to use dried spices, you can use that. I just happen to like fresh spices. I'm going to lay them all together, flat, and then just going to kind of try and roll it up into like a little burrito almost, isn't it? And then we're going to slice across the ends of it. Okay, keep our fingers back. We don't want to slice up our fingers. Move your hands back as you cut. Keep those fingertips curled back and under. And once you get to the end, you just pick up your hand so you don't cut yourself. These are kind of big pieces. I'm going to chop those up even more. And once again, we're just going to rock our knife like that to try and cut those little pieces up more. So we're kind of mincing this too, aren't we? That looks like a good tablespoon or more. I think that'll do me. I don't know, maybe I'll want more. I'm going to take a look and see. I think I'd like to have a little more. Guess what? I can, because I'm making this my way. So once again, we lay them out the same direction, and we just kind of roll them up, pinch them, and just start cutting down across them. Move your hands back as you're cutting. Don't cut your fingers. And then just rock our knife. Once again, sorry, making a lot of noise here. There you go, that's about 2 tablespoons worth of my sage. So, I like a little hot pepper. I'm going to use red chili flakes. You don't like red chili flakes? Don't put them in. Whatever you want to do. That's the cool thing about this. And I'm just going to put in a sprinky dink. How much is a sprinky dink? As much as you want. I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to kind of look at it and say, I think that might be enough heat. I don't want to go too crazy, right? So now we have our minced onions, our minced sage, our shredded gorgonzola and our red chili flakes. What's missing? Butter. This is just a 8 tablespoon packet of salted butter that has been softened. And you're gonna see why it's important for it to be softened. It'd be pretty hard to mix all this together if you had hard butter, right? Okay, so you just leave it out for about an hour or so on your countertop until it comes to room temperature and you're able to just mix it. Okay, I'm gonna get stuck up in your whisk, no problem. You just clean it out. The idea is we are whipping the butter along with our different ingredients. Okay, boy, that's messy, isn't it? Hit that again. I'm gonna go back and finish it off with my rubber spatula. I'm gonna make sure all that is really mixed up. Everything is mixed together well. Okay, there you go. Now, if you want to just put this right on top of your cooked steak or chicken or fish, whatever it is you're going to use it on, you could right now. It's soft. You can use it right now. But if you're not ready to use it yet, here's a handy dandy trick. It keeps for about a good week in the refrigerator. If you want to freeze it up to 3 months in the freezer, you can do that. Make sure you wrap it tightly so no air can get to it. It would be awful if it were freezer burned. We don't want that. So here's the trick, folks. You just pull out a piece of plastic wrap. Maybe about 10 inches. Piece of plastic wrap. Easy peasy. Put your compound butter and just kind of layer it onto your plastic wrap in a big blob. Boy, that looks interesting, doesn't it? And then take one side and kind of just roll it over, all the way over like that, till it touches the other side. Then take your hands and roll more the plastic and pull back a little bit. Roll and pull back a little bit. I'm not pulling this underneath, I'm just pulling my log back a little bit to tighten it. And now I'm going to continue on just to roll it over until you've got a log. Twist your ends. Easy peasy. Twist this end. Easy peasy. Now you have a log of compound butter. So if you're not ready to use your compound butter right away, you roll it up like this and you stick it back in your refrigerator and it will harden. And when you're ready to use it, you just cut off slices of it, maybe tablespoon slices. You could get 8 tablespoons out of there, couldn't you? Or even a little more. And you would use that, you would put that on top of your hot steak or your hot piece of chicken or your hot piece of fish, and it would slowly melt over your meat. And it tastes so good because it's been infused with all these different flavors. So I am really curious to see what type of flavor compounds you will come up with. What would you like on your meat? Try it. It is delicious.